Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Fly Like an Eagle podcast. It is June 7th. I'm here with Scotty. I'm Kyle. We bring you the best Eagles takes every single week and show every single week on the internet. Today, we're here to discuss the WIP callers talking about the Nick Sirianni relationship. If we think that Hurts has something going on with Sirianni or vice versa, if Sirianni is going to last one more, more than 1 year here. And honestly, I want Scotty to take this first. Before the show, he wanted me to take this first, but I'm going to switch it around a little bit. I want your opinions and what is going through your mind when it comes to the Hurts and Sirianni relationship, and if there's some sort of turmoil there.
What's going on, Kyle? Nice to see you be on the show again this week. Awesome to always talk birds. So yeah, let's just get right down to it and answer your question to me, which I originally proposed for you. There probably is some merit to it. We really can't kid ourselves anymore, especially as we're finally here. We're getting to the summer mini camps, training camps, usually open around July. It all goes back to last year. What was the problem? Why did they collapse? What was the miscommunication? We obviously saw Jalen Hurts frustrated. Now, the interesting thing is, Lori and Howie had to know of this power struggle, if you want to call it that, between Hurts and Sirianni. So why would they bring Sirianni back in that case? There's no way this just came out of the blue. But the only thing I could see maybe that's new is Sirianni and Kellen Moore like fighting for power within the offense or something. And then Hurts is like, what the fuck? Who am I listening to here? Right? Something along those lines. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if that's the case, if there's a power struggle between Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, that's a major problem because, again, you're going to have another voice in Jalen Hurts' head, which he's had a different voice every single year as the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, going back to his rookie year. So the more voices you get in your head, the more you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do on this play? Where am I supposed to go? And that's really confusing to a guy like Jalen Hurts, especially when the guy is used to running simplistic offense because he has the weapons. He has the offensive line around him. Now he lost Jason Kelce. He's going to have to rely on Cam Jurgens, who he's never really played with before. And you need to really, I'm not going to say dumb it down because that's the wrong word, but you really need to make sure that you guys are on the same page in order for us to come together each week, especially when you're starting in Brazil, where I'm hearing we're not going to be able to wear our own colors. So we might have to resort back to the yellow and blue colors from the 50s.
Wait, are you serious? They can't wear all white?
The white has green in it. So the only jerseys that we have are the yellow and blue. All. Yeah.
And do we know anything about, not to get any political, but I think it's like gang warning or what do we know anything about it? Do we know anything about what the color green means there or whatever?
I mean, the soccer rivals, they don't like it, but the gangs, I don't think. I know tourists aren't allowed to wear green. Well, it's not that they're not allowed to wear it, but if they do, they'll get targeted. I don't know much about it, so I'm not going to reach on it that much. But yeah, this is a big problem. I honestly think that they should at least think about bringing it back to the link or making it neutral, like borrow someone's stadium in the Midwest and just call it a day.
No way that happens.
No. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. There's no way because there's too much money for the NFL to make. They don't care about their fans being tourists in a dangerous country. They don't care if they get stabbed or shot on the street. They want the money because they're going to be in a box. They're going to have air conditioning, heat, whatever you want to call it. And that's it. That's all that matters to them. They don't care about safety. So
I'm reading a post on X from Ari. I'm sure you know who that is. My Sports
Ari.
Update. Yeah. Pretty much debunking that NFL spokesperson has denied that the Eagles and Packers won't be allowed to wear green their week 1 game in Brazil because the color is affiliated with gangs.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'll take from ML football, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that rumor started from. Obviously, we'll just have to see how that plays out. It's definitely a weird one. But, if this is a thing, when you go to other countries. Like it's just obviously, U.S. citizens, we're not used to like any type of restrictions like that. Like I can think of in wrestling when they go over to Saudi Arabia, the women have to wrestle like fully clothed. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
they like really fully clothed, like from head to toe.
Yeah, so
So
it's kind of like similar to that, where it's like to us it seems like so stupid and like what a
it's
color
like
or
weird.
like showing some type of skin, but there it's like just means something different. So
Yeah, no, I completely understand. But going back to the whole Jalen Hurts thing, I do think there's tension there. I think there's been turmoil there since the Super Bowl, honestly. Remember when Sirianni said something to the Kansas City Chiefs sideline and Jalen Hurts kind of said, hey, stop that. Like he didn't like him being
yeah, he
challenged.
was Sirianni was trying to be like cocky, get under their skin. Yeah,
Yeah, and then when they lost, I mean, that's gonna go south. Like if they won, Jalen Hurts probably still wouldn't like that. But when you lose, it's like a double whammy. And it's almost like the way the season transpired last year, I honestly still don't know why Nick Sirianni's back, but the way the season transpired last year, I don't see how their relationship's going to get any better unless they get far in the postseason this year.
now
Um,
going off of what Eagle Speed said, what's up, Speed? How is this a plant by the media, or do you think there's really some merit to this? Because what this was should have been the number one thing worked on in the off season, their relationship, whatever, getting on the same page. So are the Eagles front office just in denial about this, or is this some like, you know, how much merit do you give to these reports in this situation?
it depends on who's speaking on it. There's some people out there that just want clickbait and they'll put anything out there that they hear from a source, quote unquote, just to get their clicks up, get their views up, or whatever. But at the same time, you do have to think about it a little bit. There has to be some sort of merit to it, only because as Eagles fans, we're not dumb. You understood last year that Nick, honestly, like if you're thinking about it, Nick should have been gone. Like he shouldn't be on the team anymore based off
I
of how the
mean,
season ended.
I know, I agree.
And the whole thing with if you heard this press conference with Hertz talking about Sirianni and his demeanor about the whole yeah, we have your best player when he was talking to Giants fans, he kind of shrugged it off and he's like basically saying, Nick, what the hell are you doing? Like this guy's a dumbass. Like that's basically how I took it when I was hearing the tone in his voice. And yeah, I mean, you're completely correct. I think there will be a power struggle between Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni if things go south
I mean,
quick.
it's almost obvious because you're bringing in two people with two different offenses, and like they're
Yeah,
both, you know what I mean. So, how would that would happen in any job, any form walk of life, right?
correct. Especially when Kellen Moore sees an opportunity there to eventually take over for Nick Sirianni. And honestly, he's right there. It's not like he even has to try. If we have one bad season,
Just
Kellen Moore is
or
going to be the head coach.
just don't say dumb shit like Nick Sirianni does, right?
But here's the
Just
thing: like a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but when we're winning, I like when he acts like that. I think I like the cockiness. I think it's very Philadelphian. I think it's funny as hell. Like when he was talking to the Chiefs fans, I thought that was great. But when you're losing, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to see you or hear you. And it's like when we're losing, he's still on TV, and
well,
that's
he's still rambling. Just say a few words and be done.
yeah,
That's what pisses me off. He says 100 words but says nothing.
nothing at all. And
So
and
that
like
that, that would piss anybody off.
yeah, like during the Giants playoff game a couple years ago when he was doing that little head nod into the camera. Dude, that was like the funniest thing ever because we were just kicking the shit out of them. But
Mm,
I honestly I don't know, man. I think their relationship is already soured. But I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, if we start out 0-3 this year, it's gonna be pretty bad. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Now, do you think? Because I'm reading a little bit over the interview that Hertz did. I actually didn't see it, so I want you to take more on it. But basically, I think WIP was saying, basically he was asked about Sirianni's coaching style.
Mhm.
And Hertz was like, that's a great question. I don't know that I know the answer to it.
Because he knows
He
he's
was
not the
asked
real
about
head
Sirianni
coach.
changing his coaching style.
Well, he said that because he knows he's not the real head coach. Like he's the head coach in appearance, but someone else is calling the show, and that's
And
what I took
then,
from.
Joe DeCamera was saying a disastrous answer shows a disconnect between coach and quarterback. Nothing more important in sports than the connection between coach and quarterback. I also think
Yeah,
it's disrespectful to go by Jalen to go there. I don't know that I know the answer to it.
yeah. I
So
mean,
what do you think? Like, should he have given a more like politically correct answer, or like
I
what should he
mean,
have said?
you're asking the wrong person when it comes to PC stuff. I mean, I honestly thought he should have been straightforward. Said what was
Well,
on his
wasn't
mind.
well, okay, so he kind of was like vague about it then.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, kind of.
So
Um,
either be like positive or be honest is what you're saying, right?
be positive, be honest, be negative, or if you have something negative to say and you don't want to say it, don't say it at all.
Okay, but don't come across like again like
Don't don't come
we
don't come across like everything is okay when the tone of your voice says something else.
okay. So
Because
yeah,
people like
you gotta be so be on the same page with your entire answer, whatever your answer is,
correct.
right?
Because people
Okay.
like me can scope that out like that. Like when someone's saying they're fine and their voice is the saddest voice I've ever heard, no chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely no chance. It's like
No, I
when we got
agree.
pulled. It's like when we got pulled over in Ohio. It's like when our friend in the back seat had the guilty eyes, and he's like, "Yeah, I have nothing to hide." The cop was like, "Yeah, you're fucking lying, dude."
I totally forgot about that time. Oh my
Yeah,
god, that's hilarious. No.
nothing happened, by the way, guys. It was stupid.
And especially for a quarterback, like, walk the walk, talk the talk, like, I don't know. And then again, I'm still a fan of Hertz, and I guess like kind of like what Eagle
Hold
Speed's
on.
been saying, and this, what I think at times, like, is it the media? Is it blowing it up? But you have to take over the media and kind of like tell them how to act. Like that's what the Dallas Cowboys can't do. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like you can't fall prey to the media. You like rise above that and you're just such a professional that you're almost like scared to start up some bullshit if you're in the media. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
And
also
like
a lot of people.
we're obviously not at that level.
Well, also, I feel like a lot of people inside and outside of the fan base are soured on Jalen Hurts. So he sees and reads this stuff. Don't think that he doesn't. He sees and reads this stuff. When you're making that much money, you still have feelings, you still have thoughts, and he's seeing that people are dropping him from top five quarterback to like top 15 now. And it's a lot of people share that opinion. And when a lot of people share that opinion, when you're busting your ass and you're working out and you like have biceps as big as this now, it's not a good feeling, and you want to prove haters wrong. And then when your coach is acting the way he is, what got you in trouble last year, it's gonna be a problem.
No, I totally get it. I wouldn't say that they're soured on Hertz. I would just say they're soured on the whole team. But it's weird, like we know the fan base is a roller coaster. Are you getting a call?
Sorry.
You're good. Like I was saying, I know that we know the fan base is a roller coaster. So it's like, around free agency in the draft, we're like, you're more optimistic. We were happy about Saquon Barkley. Me and you, we've always had that feeling in the back of our minds about how last season went.
Mhm.
So eventually you kind of form your overall opinion like in August of
Right.
like, we already went through our record predictions and both of us had them at what 13-4, I think.
Yes.
So, clearly those are our overall predictions, but you know, the tea leaves and this whole summer is going to give us a lot of insight. But it's like, how much merit do you give these reports? I guess that's still my question to you
A
because
lot.
comparing it
Um,
to past situations, like, so you think it's like 90% true, basically.
no, I would say somewhere like 65, 70% true. I think a lot of it could be fluff, but it's definitely not untrue because I know the Philadelphia Eagle fan base and Philadelphia fans in general get upset when you criticize their players if it's true or not. So either one, they're going to make up a bullshit story to get under the skin of Philadelphia Eagles fans, and that's going to get them a lot of clicks and a lot of views. Or two, they're going to want to make a name for themselves, grab some information from someone close to the team, and put it out there. Yeah, sure, you'll piss off a lot of fans, and people will hate you. But if you're going to put out the truth, which I think is 65 to 70% true, then you got to look at it like that.
I agree. Now for me, I think they do have a connection. Clearly they did in 2022. I mean, there's no denying that. Obviously, you did have Shane Steichen, but both of these people, their dads were football coaches. They eat, breathe, and live football. We even heard the stories of when Hurts is like, I like Sirianni to be hard on me, or he tells me to like just like rip into me when I fuck up or whatever. So in that stance, I mean, I'm not going to say the relationship is like completely torn or something, but the only frustration I could see from like a psychological standpoint is I think Hurts is more of a like prove it in your face, like, all right, this is what we're doing, this is the plan. And I think Sirianni's just all over the place with like, let's do this here, let's try this, let's like I don't think he like I don't know if it comes from like a fear thing or he's just has a million thoughts in his head and Hurts just like fucking pick one and tell me what the fuck to do. Do you see that at all or no?
Kind of, yes, maybe. Yeah, I do. But
Right.
Choplat said something very, very accurate. As long as Barkley is used wisely, it'll help Hurts' game massively. And yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But this is where we go back to the whole coaches having the power struggle. Because if you see that they're not balanced early on in the year, it's going to be a slippery slope very quickly. Because when you're getting paid that much money as a quarterback, when you're getting paid that much money as a running back, I don't care who you are, you're going to have somewhat of an ego because you're getting paid more than the coaches. And when the coaches aren't listening to you and then the coaches aren't giving you the correct intel on what you should be doing, it's going to be a big problem. So I'm hoping that them bringing in Barkley will make us a juggernaut team, make us completely balanced, and everyone plays together as one team and not a whole Nnamdi Asomugha situation where you bring in one of the best cornerbacks in the history of the league from Oakland. He comes here and eats lunch in his fucking car. I don't want that. I would rather have everyone play together as a band of brothers. And if that happens with the amount of star power we have on this team, we will win the Super Bowl. We won't just get there. We'll win the Super Bowl because that's how much talent we have on this team. We don't even need a great quarterback. We don't even need a great quarterback play from Jalen Hurts. We just need to play smart, don't turn the ball over, play well enough on defense, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Our schedule is not that tough. Get to the playoffs, get home field advantage, get in there, get out, win Super Bowl number 2, call it a day.
Yeah, snap your fingers. It's that easy, right?
Going
back to that Nnamdi Asomugha comment, just random, but it's like, how does a grown man do that? And like, what? That's just it's weird, right?
His personality was different. I mean, he came from California. He studied college.
Yeah, but I'm sure, like, you don't think it was I feel like if you're not playing well, it's awkward at like lunch or whatever because like all eyes are on you, maybe. So maybe that had something to do with it, or like.
Well, yeah, he's also in a cornerback room with DRC and Asante Samuel at the time. Those 3 cornerbacks were Pro Bowl cornerbacks. And if one is better than the other and they're not getting as much playing time, you're going to argue. Like, obviously, in my honest opinion, all right, out of all 3 of those cornerbacks, Asante Samuel was the best. And he was the one getting the shit end of the stick because they brought in Nnamdi Asomugha on a big payday, and they brought in DRC, who was younger than Asante Samuel. So
I completely agree.
Can't have that.
I completely agree. 100%.
Yeah. I think he was our best corner in like the last 25 years, and he wasn't even our corner. He was the Patriots corner.
Yeah, I guess besides Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown, right?
Yeah.
Can't think of who did they have? Patrick Robinson for 1 year.
Nah.
Right?
He played well on the defense. He had that memorable pick six in the NFC Championship game, but he wasn't great. Like Asante Samuel was great.
Now we did talk a minute before the show about Saquon Barkley's dad. That just makes you feel any.
Uh-oh. We had Scotty's camera go out. So while
Did you?
he's figuring,
Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
We're talking about Saquon Barkley's dad. He was arrested or allegedly caught with a gun in NYC driving in the Bronx, but apparently he's had a record since he was 19 years old of gun possession.
Yeah, he's screwed.
And he spent a year in jail, but not to make light of the situation or like be insensitive, but I'm glad that Saquon's kind of used to this, and it's not something new that's going to affect his mental state, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's used to it because his dad's had a record since he's 9 years old. I didn't even know that.
19.
I thought you said 9. But yeah, no, his dad is screwed, and if he wasn't used to this, it would affect him mentally, because his dad is gonna go away, especially if the gun was loaded for 3.5 years. Because in New York City, if you have a loaded gun on you, you're away for a minimum of 3 years. So he's done. But I don't think it'll affect his mindset at all because, like you said, he's used to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that definitely swayed my opinion when I just read that.
Yeah, and Eagle Speed asks, thoughts on Eagles fans harassing Elliott Shore-Parks on Twitter for D-Jack's apology? I mean, they have every right to. They're there for their players. They're there for their players. Philadelphia Eagles fans are nuts, absolutely nuts. I mean, I'm a 31-year-old Philadelphia Eagles fan. I've had my share of violent post-game rants. I've had my share of belligerent outbursts. I've done all that. Trust me, I'm there with you guys. But at the end of the day, these players are what they are. They're players. Now going back to that whole Deshaun Jackson thing, that's a little bit more than just being a player, because Elliott Shore-Parks said that he had gang ties, which he didn't have gang ties. So Elliott Shore-Parks should issue an apology on that, but they're not going to make him. So that's
yeah.
my
And
thoughts
did you watch that whole episode on their podcast, the 2510, or no?
I don't really watch other podcasts other than mine, but I saw some highlights, and yeah, they weren't happy about that at all. I saw it,
but I think I brought it up when we talked about it briefly on the show before, but apparently that really fucked up Deshaun.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even if it's not
mentally,
true.
mentally, and he kept that with his whole career. So that's terrible. Sucks.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not true, I mean, he worked his ass off. He came from nothing. He went to California on a full ride, made the best of it, got to the NFL as a 5'9" wide receiver, and was one of the better Philadelphia Eagles wide receivers in history. That's something. That's like a movie. That doesn't happen. And you could tell he loved Philadelphia. Absolutely loved it. And he didn't want to leave. That whole bird celebration on his game back from Washington, that was in the heat of the moment. He didn't really mean that shit. And if he could have stayed here, he would have. But the fact of the matter is, Chip Kelly went with the whole ESP gang ties story, and he cut him. And
the other thing is too, and I just thought of this when we were talking about that. To play here, especially on the Eagles and Philly in general, you have to know you've had to face some adversity in your life and fucking get through it and come out on the other side. You know what I mean? Something about, you can't just be this prim and proper or Southern or, hand everything to you on a golden platter type of person. You had to go through some maybe dark shit. I'm thinking of a Michael Vick, people that went through stuff and they just have nothing ever bad to say because they know what bad is. Does that make sense?
Correct. And
Like they have thick skin because they have all these experiences that they went through.
yeah, and another thing is you're dead on accurate about the whole thing you just said. One thing you have to understand: a majority of the Philadelphia Eagles fans at the games make money. Like I'm not saying like young people like we did, like 20-year-old that really didn't have to pay bills into the stadium because we had nothing else to spend it on. I'm talking about like these grown ass adults that have money. If you're not performing, you're gonna get booed. Like I don't care if you're Jalen Hurts. I don't care if you're loved like Deshaun Jackson. I don't care if you're loved like Nick Foles. Even Nick Foles got booed after he won the Super Bowl. You know, so if you're not performing, if you're not bringing your A game every single Sunday, Monday, Thursday, or Saturday at times, you are gonna hear it, and you have to have thick skin, like you just said. You have to come from something mentally that you overcame before to play in the city, and that's why we don't have many championships because a lot of players cannot do that.
Exactly, and I feel like that aspect is not talked about as much. Like they just say thick skin, but there's a meaning behind that because it's like, oh well, I have thick skin, whatever that means. But it's like, no, it's like you've been knocked down and you know how to get back up, basically. You know, so
Exactly.
all right, moving on. I wanted to we have two topics that I really wanted to cover today. Obviously, we're talking about the Hurts and media drama. I want to go over our top 12 Eagles ahead of the 2024 season. I guess Speed said what game on the schedule is a lock. I think I was know the Giants, and then you have to say the Panthers, right?
I'm not going to put the Panthers as a lock just yet. I have it as a win, but those sneaky bastards. Let me tell you something. It's just something about that organization. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
You're still scoring over the 2002 championship game.
Nope, 2003 championship.
We're in 2003, yeah.
Yeah, because they kept us out of the Super Bowl. So yeah, I don't like that franchise.
Yeah, you're overreacting there. They're the worst team, but that's a lot.
In my honest opinion, don't take this the wrong way, guys, but they do have, in my honest opinion, the uniform, and they're fucking nice.
Wait, sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I hear. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry about this, guys. A little bit of technical difficulties.
Am I good?
You're better now.
All right, cool. But did you guys hear anything I said or not really?
No, were you talking about their uniforms, or were you saying about the Panthers?
No, yeah. Basically, what I was saying was like I didn't want to hurt any feelings out there, but they have some of the best uniforms in the entire National Football League.
Oh, I literally grew up like I bought them like I love that what is like the powder blue, whatever you call it. Not powder blue. Is it? I guess it's Carolina blue, whatever, right?
Yeah, they have. But yeah, lots of stuff for sure. It's got for a little bit, so I'll take it from. I'll start a little bit like pros. Might be my prime, but here are the parents. So yeah, I would say Giants. Scott's gonna be back. And, yeah, he'll be back. He's back, I guess. But lots of the schedule, Giants for sure. They sucked last year. I guess we'll see what happens when it comes to what they've added to their coaching staff. The only benefit it's so we'll see what happens there when it comes down to the nitty-gritty. But yeah, up there he is. Hey, you're back.
What's going on? Are you better now? I don't know if you were like crapping out there a little bit. Your connection.
Am I?
Yeah, you were. I guess Eagle Speed. Can you tell us like what is going on if you can hear Kyle or not? Because he's like really bugging out for me. We're gonna send you a text of what it looks like.
Oh, great. Can't wait.
But you're a little bit better. You're a little bit better now.
All right. Maybe it was a Wi-Fi issue.
So where did you leave while we're talking about the Panthers and their uniforms, right?
Yeah, we were talking about the Panthers and the uniforms, but then I went on to the locks. What was going to be a lock on the schedule? Right now, I just think the Giants are a lock. We're both good now.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Speed. All right, so you did hear me. I want to do the top 12 Eagles players for 2024. So if you want to pull up, I'm going to pull up their roster just because I definitely want to give my best answer. I don't want to leave anyone out because I think we have a lot of I feel like we always have players that are very good. They're ascending, but they're, not well known to, nationally, which doesn't matter. But I feel like I think one episode we forgot Landon Dickerson when we were talking about the O-line. And like he's like one of our best players on our team. Like he's that good.
Easily.
So I guess we'll do since we're doing top 12. How do you want to do this? Do you want to like reveal our 12 or do we want to do it individually or what?
Let's do it individually. Now, are you saying top 12 Eagles on the team right now?
Yeah, like that are most important, like heading into 2020, the 2024 season. Yeah.
Okay, I'll pull up the roster right now.
The best. So you want to do your 12, then my 12, or I'll do 12, you do 12?
No, 11? We'll go. Let's do. I'll do 12. You do 12. Then 11. I'll do 11. Let's just go back and forth.
Okay, cool.
All right, you can go first.
So for me, my number 12. I obviously think the offense is better than the defense, clearly. So number 12 for me, I'm actually gonna take Jake Elliott at number 12. How about that? Right? One of the best kickers and one of our best players last year. Honestly, probably like top 3 players last year. So he was, I can't believe he didn't make the Pro Bowl last year. Like he was undeniably good.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's a little bit low personally, but I see why you picked him. I would go a little bit higher on him, but for my number 12, it's going to be the new guy. It's going to be Isaiah Rodgers. I think what I'm hearing out of Eagles camp
really
what I'm hearing out of Eagles camp right now is that this guy hasn't missed a beat and that he's ready to go and he will be one of the starting cornerbacks come opening weekend.
Wow.
And I think that's huge for us because Isaiah Rodgers was dynamic on the Colts before he got suspended. And if we have a dynamic with Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, we're loaded at that position.
Finally.
That was a position we sucked at last year.
Oh, we know, but historically. Now, that's interesting you say that. Now, who plays where? Because that's like kind of fun. We should talk about that like next week, but that's like really hard to predict then. No?
It's interesting.
Right?
Yep. But it's a good problem to have.
No, that's probably, I'll add that to the show notes for next week for sure.
So I have Isaiah Rodgers. You have Jake Elliott.
Number 11 for me. Number 11, I am going to go Brandon Graham for number 11. He still comes up in big moments, and it's really just that leadership factor. Losing Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce, I think that, and everyone just loves him. Obviously we're one of his biggest supporters throughout his entire career. So I think having him on the team, it's not like he's like completely shot and just like dead weight. So with all of his talent and experience, and if he can make a sack in a playoff game at the end of the game, like anything, I think it's still worthy of him being in the top 12 players. So it's Brandon Graham for me at 11.
Okay. So number 11 for me, it's going to shock you. It's another new guy. Number 11. So I went Isaiah Rodgers as a new guy at 12. Another new guy, number 11, John Ross. Reason why I say this,
Oh my God, you're really?
and the
I thought you
reason
said
why,
you said he was shot last week.
no, I've been hearing out of Eagles camp that this guy's faster than he's ever been. He's catching the ball, and no one can guard him. Now, granted, it is just practice, but the reason why I'm listing him as number 11 is because if this guy can be what he was coming out of the draft when he got drafted 6 years ago, we'll have an unstoppable offense. Because if you're running him down the field at his 4.24 speed or whatever he has, that's faster than Deshaun Jackson, by the way, you don't know who to cover. So it's like if you just send him on a 9, and then you have A.J. Brown slanting in, you have Devonta Smith slanting in, you have Dallas Goedert going out for whatever, that's a fucking headache. So if he's what he was supposed to be, I'm putting Ross at number 11. And honestly, I think that's kind of low right now, honestly. We have a
I'm not
weapon there.
I'm not going to say it's low, and I think you got a little bit of rose-colored glasses on for that. I mean, I would love for that to be true and everything, storybook offense, but
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to see. Ross seems to have a fire in his belly from what I've heard. That's all well and dandy, but how we've heard this, so many players. Let's just pump the brakes on that, especially because no one cared about him when he was signed a couple weeks ago, right? So we will see. But I definitely think that's a little high for my liking. Number 10 for me. Number 10. Okay, number 10 for me, I'm going to put. How do I do this? All right, I'm going to put Cooper DeJean at number 10.
Interesting.
Obviously, everyone is super excited about this young player. He is coming here with a lot of notoriety, a lot of popularity. I think he is someone that he's very likable for the fans and the players from things I've seen on socials and whatnot, and obviously watching his highlights in college. Again, the only thing that I am still confused about, he just looks like a kid, so tiny, and I just can't get over it. And then I'm like, oh my God, this guy's actually a badass that can squat 500 pounds or tackle a 6'4" fucking giant. So I'm like, I need to really see it to believe it. But the way people talk about this kid and the hype, I do think it's real, and it's something special. If it really works out for him, he's going to be known for a very long time, nationally, just for everything that he represents, everything that he is. So I think number 10 is a good spot, a good starting spot, especially for a rookie.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to have him ranked at all in the top 12. Only because I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm not going to put pressure on someone that got picked in the second round and may not even be used this year that much in this defense.
You don't think he's going to be used, really?
I don't think we have room for him right now. Looking at everything, especially if they use Bradbury. I don't think they have used. I don't think they have.
Okay, but you're really thinking that Isaiah Rodgers is the second
Yes.
coming of Jesus.
I'm telling you, dude. Look at some Isaiah Rodgers highlights when you have the chance. On the Colts, he was a really good cornerback, Pro Bowl-esque cornerback. And if he really hasn't missed a beat, we have a gem there.
I hope
my
so.
number 10, Eagles Speed brought it up, Devin White. Reason why I'm putting Devin White at number 10, I don't really value the linebacking position, just like the Eagles don't value the linebacking position. But when we got rid of TJ Edwards,
I do.
It kind of hurt us in a way. And I think if Devin White could be anything like he was a couple of years ago with Tampa Bay, it would definitely help fill that hole. Now, granted, he has been kind of sloppy, especially last year. but he's definitely in the top 10 of most important Eagles this year, easily.
I can see where you're coming from with that. Absolutely. Number 9 for me. Number 9, I'm gonna give it to Darius Slay because you can say whatever you want about him, but I mean, he is still our number 1 cornerback at this given moment in time. Obviously, career wise, probably the best player on our entire defense besides Brandon Graham, if you really want to look at it. And again, I think defenses in general perform better every single player when the pressure is not on their entire back to be an all-pro every single snap. You know what I mean? Like Slay played great when he had CJ Gardner Johnson, when Bradbury was playing well. Again, you had like TJ Edwards in the linebacking, room. Like, so I think we have some talent now. Slay is obviously, how could he not be motivated by getting Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean? You have these young kids, so I'm expecting a good year out of Slay. I really, really am. Like, there's no reason that he wouldn't be rejuvenated seeing all these changes, and he doesn't have to be relied on, or he's not going to be blamed for every single mistake that he or the defense makes. So number 9 for me, Darius Slay.
I like it. Number 9 for me is Avonte Maddox. Here's why. When Avonte Maddox is on the field, his leadership is unquestioned. He's a guy that's won a Super Bowl with this team. He's a guy that's went to the playoffs multiple seasons with this team. He's a guy that knows what it takes to win, especially on this defense. And the fan base absolutely loves him. This guy needs to stay on the field, needs to stay healthy, needs to bring people together when things are going tough. That's why I have him at number 9, Avonte Maddox.
Now, that's very high. Will he stay on the field? They give him so would you like to see him get a long-term contract or no?
No, I'm just talking about this year. I'm talking about like who I'm looking for to step up, who we need to play well this year in order to win the Super Bowl this year.
So, yeah, for me, it's like the top 12 Eagles on the team. So basically the same. I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8 for me. I'm going to go with another corner, Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay.
Again, I'm not as high on Isaiah Rodgers as you are. Again, I just I'm not banking on him starting because that would be actually wild, and that would be like one of the greatest moves of all time. Because remember, he was suspended. How he picked him up off the scrap heap, there was no, he was suspended for betting, gambling. So yeah, but I think Quinyon Mitchell, this is your number 1 cornerback. I think he has all the tools to be a long-term starter in this league. And we never have rookies that defensive of the year candidate. I want to see someone come in on this team, become a starter, and play well, and make a name for yourself, and everyone knows about you. And I hope he is that person, because there's no reason he shouldn't be.
Yeah, the only problem with putting him that high, in my opinion, now, granted, I think he's going to be a good player, but in my honest opinion, I just think we have so many cornerbacks on this team now that one isn't going to be looked at it like any different, if that makes any sense.
Well, Bradbury and Slay won't be here next year, probably, right?
I think they'll be here next year, but the year after, no.
Oh, you think they'll both be back next year, Slay and Bradbury?
Well, they both have 3-year contracts, and this is year 2. So
definitely see Slay getting traded. They've been trying to trade him for how long, right?
That's true.
but
for number 8, I have Dallas Goedert as number 8. You need good tight end play, especially in this offense, to make it work perfectly. And him being out with a broken hand is not going to help us, especially because we don't have another tight end to go to. I'm sorry, I don't like Calantera or whatever the fuck his name is. Um, you need him to be on the field. You need him to block, and that's the only way it's going to work. So at number 8, I am going to put Dallas Goedert right in that spot.
Nice. All right, we're in the top 7 now. And none of us, we're like kind of like two different spectrums. We haven't said one of the same player yet.
No.
It'll take some time for Mitchell to get acquainted to the NFL speed. I agree, but again, I'm looking for like a Jalen Ramsey, like someone that I know Jalen Ramsey was like a top 5 pick, but we got the best corner in the draft. So, right? Did we not hear that? Was that
I
not
disagree with that, but
wasn't that the review on draft night, right?
It was.
So let's go. Like I want someone to come in and take over.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Steven.
Yeah, true. Into the fire. All right, number 7 for me. I am going to go with. Ooh, this is tough because obviously someone's going to get left off my list. But
number 1 is going to be the same for us. I already know it.
Maybe we'll see. I'm going to go with Jordan Mailata at number 7. This guy has slowly become one of our best players. Clearly, I put him at 7. And one of the best tackles, offensive lineman in the league. He even got that recognition from Australia during the draft night. Like, he literally came out of nowhere, rugby player, and he was in the Eagles system for a few years. And I remember before he even really, shined, everyone was like, who is this guy? Why do they still have him on the roster? Like, this is just a waste of space. Like, do you remember those types of comments too, or no?
Yeah, I mean,
and look at him now. Look at him now. He's a great player, and if he goes down, like that's a big loss. Really is, right? So
big.
I think he's super important at number 7, Jordan Mailata.
Absolutely, I can't disagree with you. Number 7 for me. I want you to guess who you think I'm going to think, because it's not too high, it's not too low, but it's one of those players we really need to step up this year.
But I feel like you're doing a step up, and I'm doing like top 12. So like
I'm doing something completely different.
I mean, you put damn John Ross on the top 12 Eagles. Like what?
Most important, yeah.
Most important. Top.
All right, whatever. I'll do most important. You do top.
I'm thinking you're going to say like Cam Jurgens or something.
At number 7, I'm going to go with Jordan Davis. I need Jordan Davis to really step up this year. I think him getting to the quarterback, him losing like 50 pounds or whatever he lost, it's going to be big for his pass rushing skills. I need him to get to the quarterback this year. And I think this is the year where Jordan Davis cements his name into Eagles history with 15 sacks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
I wish.
You're nuts today if you actually actually believe that. Number 6 for me, I'm going to go with CJ Gardner-Johnson, because if you think about it, he was like a top 5 player on that Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how important he was, and he made that impact. Like him leaving, we know it. Like we didn't realize it, but yeah, it changed the entire complexity of the defense. And having him back, I think, is going to be huge. He's still a fairly young player. Is he like 26 or 27?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he's a very, very important piece. Again, if he goes down, God forbid, right?
Right.
So number 6 for me is CJ Gardner-Johnson.
CJ is going to be up there in my top 5, but for right now, Number 6. Again, you're doing top 12. I'm doing top 12. Who we need to jump up and take it. For me, it's Bryce Huff. I think Bryce Huff needs to replace Hassan Reddick just a little bit. And I think if he can replace him maybe 75%, we'll be fine at that position. But for right now, that is a major loss. And Bryce Huff got paid a lot of money for what he was at the Jets, on the Jets training, fucking football roster. He was a rotational piece at best. He had 10 sacks being a rotational piece. Can he be a full-time piece? I don't know. But we really need him to step up. I'm going to put Bryce Huff at number 6. Eagles that we need to step up this year.
All right, so for number 5, top Eagles heading into 2024 for me. Number 5. Ooh, this is like now I really am doing my top 5 players right now. And it's gonna be tough. I need to like count them. I mean, I have them probably. Alrighty, top 5. Jesus. Okay, number 5. It has to be Devontae Smith. This guy is like so underrated, and again in 21 he was our number 1, and again all the pressure was on him. We had no other receivers of note besides Devontae Smith in 21. Yeah, because Deshaun was gone. Yeah, Deshaun left in 20. Skinny Batman, like seriously, like this guy surprises you on the field. He's finally making a name for himself. Not that he wasn't already well known, you know, coming out of college, and you know how high he got drafted and everything. And he won the Heisman, right? So yeah, I mean, he has really stepped up and become one of our best players. And let's see if he can make even another leap to like really be a 1A to AJ Brown instead of, you know, AJ being the 1 and Devontae being the 2. And I have faith that he can make some progress even already based off how good he is.
Okay. Now that I'm dipping into the top 5, it's going to turn into basically the top 5 Eagles players that we need and top 5 Eagles on the team, because they go hand in hand. Number 5 for me is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. C.J. Gardner-Johnson proved he's a stud. He came back to get his deal, got it, went to the Lions, didn't miss a beat there. They got to the NFC Championship game with him. Just seems like wherever he goes, he's a winner. And he's definitely in my top 5, not only as Eagles players that need to step up, but as Eagles players that are top 5 in general. I think the guy's an absolute beast, and we needed him back here. So I'm going to go CJ at number 5.
I would agree. I'm at number 4, but I did forget. Of course, I forgot someone. So number 4. All right, I should have put Landon Dickerson in there somewhere. So my bad, but he's not in my top 5. But shout out to Landon
But he's
Dickerson.
forgettable.
I know why. I don't know, because he's like some damn like country folk and tractor driving. Like what the hell?
No, it's because he's an offensive lineman. You just forget about him. Unless they're Lane Johnson or Jason Kelsey, you're just going to forget about him.
I know. Well, sorry, no disrespect, Landon, but
yeah.
You are like number 13 or like somewhere in there.
It's like me with Tyler Steen.
Tyler Steen?
Yeah, he took over for what's his face? Somebody. Yeah, they're putting him in the rotation this year.
Oh, the guard, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't remember either right now. Anyways, number 4 for me. Number 4 for me is Saquon Barkley. I think he actually had like he has a little bit of high expectations now to fill. Like based on the way that you talk about him, the hype is building for him. They will not let the Giants talk die. This is going to be talked about all season long with Saquon and the Giants fans. So it's almost like he has something to prove now. Like it's not just he can show up and be great. Like he has to be great and then be great again. Or
Yeah.
there's going to be some type of media or social, like they're watching him. Now the thing with his dad. So obviously I think he's a great player. I don't even really remember what a great running back really looks like. When's the last time we even had one like that? You know what I mean? I'm so used to just like plug and play or Miles Sanders, which is fine. Who did we have last year? I can't even
It
DeAndre
was
Swift.
we had Gainwell
DeAndre
and we had Swift.
Yeah, so we actually have like a top 5 running back, maybe top 3. So it's just I mean, for me, and also we've never had like a top 5 receiver and a top 5 running back. Like, can you
No.
like ever, right?
Nope.
So we don't even know what we're in store for. So it's definitely going to be fun. Saquon number 4 for me.
Okay. Number 4 for me is Jalen Hurts.
Mm,
Jalen Hurts being at number 4 is pretty simple. You know, their offense runs through him, but it doesn't run through him, if that makes any sense. He's a guy that, you know, obviously he's the whole team. He brings the team together. He's the quarterback. He gets paid the most money. But at the end of the day, we have so many superstar players around him. We have a dynamic offensive line that all he has to do is do simplistic stuff like throw the ball when he needs to, not turn it over, and run when he has to. He's not as important as you think he is. I think Saquon's actually a little bit more important to this offense. But yeah, I'm going to put Jalen Hurts at 4. He just needs to do the simple stuff and we'll be good.
interesting. Number 3 for me is Lane Johnson, obviously future Hall of Famer, hopefully. A leader on this team, one of the best, just confident, well-rounded overall talents. I think this guy, just to brag about him a little bit, I think he could play a lot of different positions in this game. I think he even played quarterback in high school, but I could definitely see him if he wanted to being a tight end and like, you know, shedding down a little bit to more of that tight end body type than a tackle. He's a badass, playing injured in the playoffs and just everything. Like literally is giving, will give, and gave everything to this team and this city. Um, this is gonna sound a little shady, but he's literally Jason Kelsey, but a little bit more talented. Like, you know what I mean? Just overall athletically. Obviously Kelsey has a more outgoing personality, but
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit.
it doesn't. But
It means nothing.
I think that he also is still like super underrated in the grand scheme of everything. And I think he deserves more recognition and respect. Like he is one of the best players in the entire league for probably the past 10 seasons. And some people still don't know about him. So again, offensive lineman, I guess, like you said.
Yep. Number 3 for me is Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, the offense is pretty much going to run through him if he stays healthy and he does what he needs to do. We're going to be dynamic. If he gets hurt like he does every single year, we're going to have to rely on Kenneth Gainwell, and that's going to fucking suck. So it's that he's the 3 most crucial player on this team. He's the 3rd best player on this team, in my opinion. So
Best
that goes
player.
goes hand in hand. So I think him being at 3 is perfect. I think it's awesome. I'm already keeping Brees Hall in my fantasy lineup from the Jets. I might add Saquon Barkley in the first round. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But that's number 3.
You're like so happy Saquon's here. It's
Love
literally
him.
literally crazy.
But there's 2 more important. I'll get to them after you.
Number 2 for me is Jalen Hurts. Clearly the leader of this team. We were just talking about all the back and forth with Sirianni. He is still the number 2 overall talented player for me based on his skill set and ability and everything that he is. Again, it's the quarterback. I should have him at number 1, but I don't, just because the person that I do which I guess I'll just reveal now, is AJ Brown. I'm an AJ Brown stan. I think he's the hottest thing since fucking sliced bread. Like, this is a blue chip, all pro, all time talented TO like wide receiver. If he, I mean, the only thing with AJ, like, I guess the Titans traded him for a reason. No, like, I feel like that never gets kind of talked about at all. Even though
Two
they
reasons.
obviously, what?
Two reasons. It's because number one, he's a drama queen, and number two, they understood that he was so good that he was going to ask for a boatload of money, and they can't afford him.
True. And the good outweighs the drama queen, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And he's not injury prone, which I'd rather, like, that's a bigger issue than drama for me, because again, you have to make that shit work for a generational talent. That's like when T.O. left, it's like, fuck you. Like, are you serious? You really can't make this work with one of the most talented, God-gifted players ever created? Like, that's not an excuse. Again, unless they're killing somebody or like flipping people off in the like locker room every goddamn day. Like, it's about winning. It's not like we're at church or fucking a retreat. You know what I mean? We're here to play football. Like,
Adventure.
Whoever is the best is on the goddamn field. Put the generational, ungodly, you can't make it in a lab talent and go to work, you know?
Exactly. And that's why at number two, I agree with you, AJ Brown. I think if you take AJ Brown off of this team sucks. AJ Brown, everything runs through AJ Brown. That's why I was considering trading him in the draft for another stud wide receiver, because if you're not going to have him based off drama, you might as well get something back for him, something big for him. But we signed him to a payday. Hopefully that Justin Jefferson deal doesn't get in his head, because he signed for a massive amount, much more than AJ Brown signed for.
Yeah, but only one. It's not like, yeah, but like he's number two now, right?
I think AJ Brown's better than Justin Jefferson.
I mean, like, as far as the contract, like, he's number two, AJ Brown now. Like, yeah, second highest paid.
But it goes from here. It goes AJ Brown, then it goes to Justin Jefferson. Like, there's like a wide gap with contracts. So it's like, hopefully that doesn't get in his head.
Well, because he's the best. Justin Jefferson's the best Vikings player by far, right?
That's not saying much, though. They don't really have anybody else.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, he asked for 300, like, whatever the hell he got. I don't even know how much did he get paid. Do you know?
He's getting paid. Let me bring it up real quick.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, they have all the money in the world. Why would you not pay him?
It was ridiculous. I almost spit out my water.
Was it like 250 million?
It was a lot for a wide receiver. It was a lot. 4 years, 40 guaranteed. Oh, wait, 4 years, $140 million, 110 guaranteed.
110. Wow,
that's ridiculous, dude.
Wow, look up AJ's again.
All right, AJ Brown, the contract. Yeah, that's ridiculous for a wide receiver. 3-year extension worth $96 million. So yeah, it's not even close to what Jefferson got.
And how much is AJ's guaranteed?
AJ's guaranteed. Let me look. 84 guaranteed.
Yeah, 110 million guaranteed. Like, that is unworldly.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And then who's your number one?
My number one, and this is going back to not top Eagles of all time. This is the most important Eagle this year, bar none. Bar none. The most important Eagle this year is Cam Jurgens. I mean, no doubt about it. He's the guy that's going to run the offense. He's the guy that hikes the ball. He's going to have to make the push work. He's going to have to take over for Kelsey. And can he do it? We don't know. So, yeah.
Do you think they'll run? All right, last little tidbit. The tush push, because we really have never talked about that on the podcast, even that play in general at all. Do you think that it's gonna be like because Hurts was saying 95% of the offense is new. I think they'll use it, but they did use it too much last year. No? Yes?
They used it a lot last year because they didn't really have anything else. Like that's
Exactly.
why changing the offense was huge. Like 95% of the offense was big when Jalen Hurts had his press conference and he said that because all we had was the tush push and like 10 outs. That's all we had.
Right? A slant. Right?
Yeah.
Get killed. Yeah, so I don't think we're gonna, and if they will use it, but if you have a real offensive mind, like the trick plays out of that formation. Like I really hope we see like a 2.0. And I remember oh my god. I remember they ran that 2-point conversion, like, and it was like out of that tush push, and it was like
Yeah.
for a waste. And wherever the commentator is like, oh, why are they revealing this? It doesn't even matter this play. Like, why wouldn't you save that for an important time? So dumb shit like that. I hope we are more strategic. You know what I mean? And not
Yeah, I mean,
deep.
I think you can throw this. I think you could throw the strategic out the door when it comes to Nick Sirianni, but I guess we'll see.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you showing your hand on a play that you don't even need to get? Right?
Yeah, well, it's true.
Exactly. Right?
Everyone knows it's coming; they just can't stop it.
But
But hey, listen. That being said, guys, thank you guys for tuning into another edition of Fly Like an Eagle podcast. Our top 12 Eagles going into the year. Mine was a little bit different. Mine were the Eagles that needed to step up the most. His were the top 12 overall. I think it worked hand in hand. And yeah,
by
next
the
week
end, we got some familiarity
we got
seeing
closer. Yeah. But next week we'll be back with another show. And thank you guys for tuning in, especially Chop Lad, Speed, Vester. All you guys are great. Brent. But we'll be back every single week doing this 1 hour to 1 hour and a half, whichever times work best for us.
every
And
Friday.
yeah,
Never fails, right?
yep. And we're gonna keep growing the show, and hopefully during the season, you guys see us at the games. So, anything else you want to say?
No, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Weather's gorgeous. Get out and enjoy it. And again, summer's gonna go by quick, guys. Unfortunately, it always does. Looks like it was great watching you guys. You're one of the best and most truthful Eagles pods out there. Keep up the good work, boys. Thanks, Star Force 97.
But yeah, there's a good ending to that though, because once summer ends, football begins.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. It's part of the journey, but life goes by quick, so enjoy every moment. Look at us being like a fucking poet to end this, right?
That's it. But yeah, with that said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we are out until next week. See you guys
Talk to
later.
you later.